And if I had the power to say, let there be light, and there is light, all that I would do is say, let all be holy, and you are all holy. Let sin vanish, and everything vanishes. God did not do that. He let his son come, take seed in the womb of a virgin, conceived 9 months, born in a manger, went through the process of infancy and youth and adolescence and adulthood and all of that. And I asked myself, why? Why this long process? I mean, the guy lived for 30 years only to preach for 3 years and use 3 days to die and save us. Does that make sense? 30 years for 3-year preaching or ministry, and for 3-day suffering, dying, and rising from the dead. Why did it take you 30 years? To tell you that our humanity is a process. You see, if a woman gives birth this morning, and you have a goat, and we love goat, right? And the goat gives birth in the morning. By evening time, the baby goat will be leaping and jumping, right? But the human baby would barely have the eyes even open. Now, if you give birth to your own baby, and after 1 week, the baby say, "Mom, I tell you are going to run away from your own baby." The baby opened their mouth and they have teeth, and he says, "I will eat jollof." Oh boy. You will run away from your own baby. Why? Because this baby is bypassing the entire human process. And so to understand the cross, we need to understand process. And sometimes, not only in Africa, but in this current age, I wish there were more young people, and I give this message to young people. Life is about process. You cannot bypass it. And if you have time, I have teaching that I give. Quick way of making money, quick way of making success, quick way of making life, quick way. The Bible condemns it completely. Especially if you read the book of Proverbs. He says wealth. Proverbs chapter 13, verse 11 and 12, when you go read it. Wealth gained hastily will not be blessed in the end. But he who gathers little by little will make it grow. Go and read it from the book of Proverbs. So haste in life is against our nature as human. It's against process. Life takes time. And so Jesus became human to demonstrate that to us. That process is at the very core of who we are, which calls for patience, endurance, diligence, hard work, commitment, planning, strategy, and execution toward the final fruit. That's what life is about. Any quick way is called magic. It's not miracle. Our God is a God of miracle, but not a God of magic. And there is a big difference between a miracle and a magic. You see a baby in a manger, and that is God. That's a miracle. You need the eye of faith to see the hand of God in it. You see bread, that's Christ, our King. You need faith to perceive the reality. He's looking right in your face, but you may fail to recognize him. And finally, we see that the cross is at the very center of our life. Remember, suffering is part of human life. Since the day Adam fell, suffering is part of human life. In fact, death is part of human life. And in fact, crucifixion, Jesus was not the only one who was crucified. You know that. Being crucified was not something that happened only to Jesus. In fact, on the day Jesus died, there were 3 people crucified. Jesus was at the center, but there were 2 other people crucified with him. So Jesus is not the only one who was crucified.